Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 1st, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Sunday. Hopefully it was a fun day for you. As for me, it's been a very good day. Also, happy Black History Month. Sorry I took a day off. It wound up just being a little too tuckered out, and kind of slept through my cue, but we'll get to it. I want to go through my whole Saturday and up until today. But yes, overall, I've been good. I've been solid. Hopefully you have been yourself. But yes, let's run it back. Let's go all the way back to Saturday. I wake up, I get myself ready to do what? The laundry. And we get everything together. I realize that this is already just going to be more annoying than usual, because I have an extra whole load of laundry somehow. And I'm like, I don't know how this has happened, but okay, here we go. So I get there, I'm a little bit later than I like. And of course, any of the ones I would want to use that could accommodate the bigger one, I could just throw them all in the one big one. Those are all taken. Okay, well, maybe I can throw it into two small ones. Nope, those are all taken. So I'm like, I wound up having to use 3 washers to get it all done. And one of the ones I picked, for some reason, went longer than the other ones. And I was like, oh, crap. So I wound up having to stay at the laundromat the entire time, kind of nursing all my laundry, getting it all together. But overall, it came out okay. I actually got out in a timely fashion because I didn't leave and go back home and do stretches and stuff. Okay, cool. Get all the laundry done. Post laundry, we were going to go to the gym, but I realized I just didn't have the time. So I was like, okay, time to go to my friends, because I had made plans to have a commander day with the homies. So that wound up being very fun. Spent a few hours doing that. A little bit of food corner. The host, they made a buffalo chicken dip. Or no, there wasn't chicken in it. It was just a buffalo dip. And then they had some meatballs. So I was like, okay, that's awesome. Gobbled some of that up. And then another homie came through and brought a whole thing of Dunkin' Donuts. So I had myself a chocolate frosted donut. So there you go. That was yummy. And overall, a really good time, slinging some spells. Post that, I was like, okay, I got to get my pump in. That was the plan for the day. So I cut out a little bit earlier and went to the gym. And I don't know, the way I was feeling, I was like, I don't want to do a max lift situation. I want to lift heavy to start, but I want to try to get in more sets, more reps. That was just what I was feeling. And that's what we set out to do. And overall, we got on the Smith machine, we got on the free weights, and then I just did core work, didn't do any filler, did some cardio, and that was good. That was solid. But I come home, and I'm just pooped. I'm just tired. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a quick nap, and then I'll get up, and I'll record an episode. Sounds good. Sounds perfect. And I go to sleep. I can't remember exactly what time. It wasn't that late, maybe 8 or 9. And then I wake up at 2 o'clock or post 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And I kept thinking to myself, okay, well, there's a few news stories I wanted to cover. I could get up and do that. And then I let an hour or so go by. I finally get up and I'm like, I'm not doing that right now. No, we're chilling. But I did actually look up a bunch of news, kind of, I guess you could say pre-research or whatever. But no, I just was like, okay, we definitely have news. I'll just wait and we'll cover as much as we can for Sunday. That was kind of the plan. Anyway, I wind up going back to sleep a little bit later on in the night and then wake up and do some grocery shopping. Groceries went well, got that all done, come home, drop everything off, go back to the gym. I was feeling really sore. I don't know if it was just the whole week catching up with me. I don't know if I'm just still a little banged up from the, just the feet, but not just my foot. I would say, and this is a different foot problem in the same foot. It's now more ankle based, but then also my like arm, like left arm, like shoulder area, kind of feeling a little. So I was like, okay, I think what I'm gonna do today is just hit it light. Essentially, just going under 225, pushing that, and just nothing crazy, not even for more sets, not even for more reps, just hitting our little usual, just very light. And that felt good. On free weights, I did like 55. So instead of what I normally would do is try to push 70 on the weekend. So I'm like, okay, taking it a little bit easier. Felt pretty good. So that's good. And then I came home after all that and did some Advil. But I also managed to, do my usual. Actually got everything in the filler work, the core work, the cardio. So yay, love that. W workouts for the weekend. Came home, did my stretch, did my snack, did my little research. You know the vibes. So yeah, you're all caught up. Once again, sorry for missing a day, but these things happen. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. We're actually starting with the story I fumbled last episode. I have a chip on my shoulder about it, so we have to do a little bit of coverage on it. Tulsi Gabbard. My mind fogged on it. I don't know. I'm like, and then remember what she does. I'm like, director of intelligence. And I'm like, what's her cabinet position? Duh. But to be fair, she's been kind of a ghost for like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, about a month or so. Like, she's kind of been off the radar. She's kind of been a fucking nobody. So I'm glad that there's a little bit of coverage on it, and we can kind of just start there. Oh, actually, I'm getting way ahead of myself, though. I'm a little bit too eager to correct the record. Let's go ahead and do the roll call. It's the top of the month. It's the first of the month. All right. We'll do that, and then we'll do our startup. That sounds good. All right. Stephanie Renee, Mama Bear, Aaron Walden, Kira Finsky, and then also shout out on the Kira tip, Nail Alchemist. She be on them nails. Hit her up. And then also my homie Ryan, check out Sculptor. I know they're going to be rolling out some stuff hopefully soon. But yeah, I know they got a page set up. I'll try to drop the info in my show notes. I know sometimes I forget. I'm sorry. But yes, I'll try to put that in the show notes for the episode so you can check that out. So yeah. Shout out to my newsies. Love y'all. Mwah, mwah. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into the news. All right. From NBC News. Tulsi Gabbard under scrutiny for showing up at FBI raid of Georgia election hub. When President Donald Trump watched the live feed of the U.S. military operation that captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was not in the room. Just two days earlier, she had posted photos of herself on a beach in Hawaii at sunset practicing yoga, sending out a New Year's greeting for peace. She appeared to be on vacation, and the run-up to such a high-stakes, ultra-sensitive military operation seemed to underscore the extent to which she had been sidelined by the administration. But there she was on Wednesday at an election center in Fulton County, Georgia, as FBI agents conducted a raid seeking ballots from the 2020 presidential election, which Trump has falsely claimed he won. She had no business being there. Like, she had no reason being there. I want to add this fact here. Accompanying FBI agents on a raid is unprecedented for the chief of U.S. intelligence, whose job is to track threats from foreign adversaries. In her role overseeing the country's spy agencies, Gabbard is prohibited by law from taking part in domestic law enforcement. Her predecessors took pains to keep their distance from Justice Department cases or partisan politics. So I don't know if that explains why she was moving like sneaky Peter Griffin or whatever. Peter Griffin in a trench coat. That's why I had to put them in the thumbnail together. Because I'm like, what is the point of this? So I think she wanted to kind of establish herself there at the scene so that, hey, Trump knows I'm out here, but not actually like be out there because he knows you're not supposed to be there, dude. But, I guess she's just so off the ball. She needs to get, back on the scene, get some cool points with daddy. I don't know, man. But I mean, she just continues to be a joke. I'm not, this is not surprising behavior, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I just wanted to start off with that and correct the record for myself. Okay. The next story is from NPR. Mine collapses in eastern Congo, leaving at least 200 dead. A landslide earlier this week collapsed several mines at a major coltan mining site in eastern Congo, leaving at least 200 people dead, rebel authorities said Saturday. The collapse took place Wednesday at Rubia mines, which are controlled by the M23 rebels. Lumumba Cambrere Muiza, the spokesperson of the rebel-appointed governor of North Kivu province, told the Associated Press. He said the landslide was caused by heavy rains. For now, there are more than 200 dead, some of whom are still in the mud and have not yet been recovered, Muiza said. He added that several others were injured and taken to 3 health facilities in the town of Rubia, while ambulances were expected to transfer the wounded Saturday to Goma, the nearest city around 30 miles away. The rebel-appointed governor of North Kivu has temporarily halted I'm fucking this word up for some reason, artisanal mining on the site and ordered the relocation of residents who had built shelters near the mine, Muiza said. Congo's government, in a statement on X, expressed solidarity with the victim's family and accused the rebels of illegally and unsafely exploiting the region's national resources. So there's a bit more details you can read and go through, parse through, but I just wanted to at least cover the top half of the story. Obviously very sad, very unfortunate, to see so many people losing their lives, essentially just trying to make a living, you know what I mean? Mining is always such a scary thing. I think, what was it, like October Skies? I remember watching that in grade school and just being like so shook. I was like, people do this? People go into mines just to like get some resources? And it's like, yeah, we did that a lot. We do that a lot. And it's like, whoa, like that shook me up. I'm like, I could never. That's so scary. But yeah, it is a living. And I know in this situation, it is not for a lot, but you do what you can to, make what you can for your family. I understand that part. So condolences to people who lost their lives, people affected by all this. And, keep you posted if there's anything more coming out of Rubia. Let's go and move on to our next story from The Guardian. More than 120 people dead after multiple suicide and gun attacks in Pakistan. Pakistan's military said on Saturday that multiple suicide and gun attacks by terrorists across the restive southwestern province of Balochistan killed 33 people, including civilians, while security forces responding to the violence killed 92 assailants. Analysts described it as the deadliest single day for militants in decades. During the attacks, Baloch insurgents targeted civilians, a high-security prison stations, and paramilitary installations. 18 civilians, 15 security personnel, and 92 insurgents were killed, the military said. Though Baloch separatists and the Pakistani Taliban frequently target security forces in Balochistan and elsewhere in the country, coordinated attacks on this scale are rare. Authorities said at least 133 militants have been killed across Balochistan over the past 48 hours, including 92 on Saturday. The military and Pakistan's Interior Minister, Mohsin Naqvi, said the attackers had the backing of India. There's no immediate response from New Delhi, which has denied such allegations previously. The Outlaw Baloch Liberation Army, or BLA, claimed responsibility for the suicide and gun attacks, during which some of the banks were robbed and a police station and dozens of vehicles torched. The BLA released videos showing female fighters taking part in the attacks, apparently part of propaganda efforts to highlight the role of women among the militants. Shahid Rind, a spokesperson for the Balochistan government, said most of the attacks were foiled. They came a day after the military said security forces this week raided two militant hideouts in the country's southwest, killing 41 insurgents in separate gun battles. The provincial chief minister, Sarfraz Bukti, wrote on X that security forces were chasing the insurgents. He said at least 700 insurgents were killed by security forces in the past year. Earlier on Saturday, authorities said that insurgents destroyed rail tracks, prompting Pakistan Railways to suspend train services from Balochistan to other parts of the country. Targets were police, prison, paramilitary forces, and passengers. The attacks began almost simultaneously across the province. The provincial minister, Bakht Muhammad Kakar, said. He said 2 police officers were killed in a grenade attack on a police vehicle in Quetta, the provincial capital. The government declared an emergency at all hospitals. Dozens of insurgents also attacked a prison in Mastung district, freeing more than 30 inmates, police said. In other attacks, militants attempted to storm the provincial headquarters of paramilitary forces in Nushki district, but the attack was repelled, police said. Insurgents hurled grenades at the office of a government administrator in Dalbandin district, at the office administrator in sorry, I got distracted there. Government administrator in Dabadin district, but a swift response by security forces forced them to flee, according to local authorities. Attacks on security posts in Balencha, Tump, and Karan districts were thwarted, while in Pasni and Gwadar, insurgents attempted to abduct passengers traveling on buses along highways, police said. Wow, sorry, I'm kind of taking this all in, and I'm also like thinking, just on previous times we've kind of come back to this region and like covered, attacks, train heist situations, all of that, and it's like, damn, they did like all this in like a 48-hour span this time. Like they just said, like, we're gonna do a whole fucking push, and they caused a lot of devastation and a lot of damage, as you know, we're kind of reading, but the BLA is banned in Pakistan and designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. It has been behind numerous attacks in recent years, and Pakistan says the group enjoys the backing from India, a new charge New Delhi denies. Pakistan has repeatedly said that Baloch separatists, the Pakistani Taliban, and other militants are using Afghan soil to launch attacks inside Pakistan. Kabul denies the claim. So yeah, we'll leave that story there, but, obviously it was a lot to kind of cover. I felt like, hey, let me let the article kind of tell the story better than I could, but, just a lot of kinetic action coming out of that region. So felt relevant to cover that. But moving on to the Middle East, moving on to Israel and Gaza. I know it's a conflict we haven't really talked about as much recently, but obviously a lot has been going on. I'm going to take a quick water break. All right. From the BBC. Israeli airstrikes kill at least 32 Palestinians in Gaza, rescue officials say. At least 32 people have been killed in a wave of Israeli airstrikes across the Gaza Strip on Saturday, according to local authorities. The Civil Defense Agency, which is operated by Hamas, says children and women were among those killed. It added that in one attack, helicopters, gunships hit a tent sheltering displaced people in the southern city of Han Yunis. Palestinians have described the strikes as the heaviest since the second phase of the ceasefire, brokered by President Trump last October, came into effect earlier this month. I mean, it's crazy that I'm sure they're going to try to describe this as something that, once again, we are doing this in defense of our country. We are trying to look for Hamas. They are hidden amongst these people. They are using, innocent civilians as human shield. Man, you guys are killing innocent civilians every fucking day. And once again, to mention, yes, we are covering this because this is a bigger number. It's making a splashier headline, so that's why I'm seeing it. That's why I'm covering it. But I know, a week or two ago, there was at least, I think, 4 Palestinian journalists who were killed amongst other innocent civilians in similar strikes. There are people being killed over a fucking yellow line that is more or less imaginary and getting moved all the time, in which they deny. So it's like, come on here. We are not being serious. At the end of the day, I believe since October, over 500 people have been killed. Palestinians have been killed since the ceasefire, which were supposed to be in the second phase. At this point, they've gotten all their bodies back. I know I didn't cover that body to body, but that's more or less wrapped up. Okay. I know that they're saying, well, Hamas needs to disarm. That was never going to fucking happen. Everyone fucking knows that. And essentially, we're kind of just vaguely moving past that, it seems, or maybe we're not. We'll see what Israel, how they want to fucking play it. But essentially, they're like, nope, we're still going to keep killing people every day, all the time. One way or another. It might make headlines, it might fucking not, but we're still going to keep doing it. So it's almost like, okay, we found the dial that we can kind of set it to, or now this doesn't make daily coverage. So that's good. But we can still keep doing our atrocities. We can still keep doing this genocide, and it's fine. No one's stopping us. No one's really booing us loud enough to actually impede us from doing what we're doing. It's not really jamming up the works. We're still doing business. I'm still dapping up Trump, whenever I need to, whenever I want to, and I'm on the board of peace, goddammit. What the fuck? Nothing has really changed, right? Yet supposedly we're in the second phase of the ceasefire where we're supposed to be getting, actual peace and a chance at rebuilding Gaza. How are you going to do that when you are killing people every fucking day, though? So, I don't fucking know. I know I immediately kind of took this and just ran off with it. But I just wanted to kind of summarize this and at least say we talked about it, and that we shouldn't stop talking about it, obviously. But just to read some numbers before we move on to our last story for the day. Jesus fucking Christ. Over 71,666 people have been killed. And I'm talking since the start of this fucking conflict from October 7th, 2023. But in terms of, once again, post the ceasefire agreement, on October 10th of 2025, 509 Palestinians. You know what I mean? That's just the ones that are covered. That number, at least for the 71,000 number, you could jack that up another 30,000, unfortunately. I feel like that's just a grim truth of the matter that people will say sometimes or they won't, just because there are people who are buried under rubble. And it's like, sure, you could get those people, but under heavy duress, it took months to get that done, right? So imagine people that you don't have that kind of, push priority because, once again, we're going to keep bombing you as hard as we can until you find X or Y person, okay? So, yeah, the shit continues. It doesn't fucking stop. I know that, obviously, apologies for not always being on it. And I know there's also so many other conflicts, too, that, you can say the same, that I'm not giving it the same amount of coverage, but I know I only have so many slots, in a day, and so much time, so I do try to, cover the stuff when I can, as best as I can. So, yeah. But moving on to our last story, we are moving, staying in the Middle East. Let's go ahead and take our last break. We're closing it out in Iran. But yeah, man. All right. From CBS News. Explosion in Iranian port city ahead of Iran's naval drill in the Strait of Hormuz. One day before a planned naval drill by Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, an explosion tore through an apartment building Saturday in the Iranian port city of Bandar Abbas, which sits on the strait. The blast killed a 4-year-old girl, as local media footage purportedly showed a security force member being carried out by rescuers. Iran is planning a naval drill Sunday and Monday in the strait, the narrow mouth of the Persian Gulf through which a fifth of all oil traded passes. The U.S. military has warned Iran not to threaten its warships or commercial traffic in the strait. State television quoted a local fire official as blaming the blast on a gas leak. Media reported at least 14 others injured in the explosion. A local newspaper, Sob-e-Sahel, aired footage of a correspondent speaking in the front of the building. The footage included a sequence that showed a man in a green a green security force uniform, being carried on a stretcher. He wore a neck brace and appeared to be in pain, his left hand covering the branch insignia on his uniform. The newspaper did not acknowledge the security force member being carried out elsewhere in its reporting. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard did not discuss the blast, other than deny that a Guard Navy commander had been hurt. Another explosion blamed on a gas explosion Saturday in the southwestern city of Havas killed 5 people, state media reported. Iran remains tense over a threat by President Trump to potentially launch a military strike on the country over the killing of peaceful protesters, over the possible mass execution of those detained in a major crackdown over the demonstrations. Speaking to CBS News Thursday night on the red carpet of the Millennia premiere, the documentary that provides an inside look of the life of the First Lady, Melania Trump, in the days following her husband's 2024 election victory. Mr. Trump said, I have had conversations with Iran in the last few days, and I'm planning to have more. Now, I want to take a quick pause here. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Real shit. I kind of want to see the Millennium movie. And I don't know. Actually, I do know why. I think I want to know why. Or I want to see like what she's supposed to be like. Like, what is supposed to be the narrative for Melania Trump? I've heard the movie is pretty much ass. So, like, that kind of knocked me out of it. Like, I don't really stand to gain that much. I don't stand to learn that much. But I don't know. I was kind of mildly fascinated by it. I'm like, maybe I could watch it, but I'm good. I'm definitely not going to blow any kind of money on a ticket. It might be on Prime, which I might actually potentially have access to, but even then, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But anyway, so I was thinking about this Melania thing, and I was like, okay, that got mentioned. But obviously, back to the article, because I wanted to talk about this next bump. At least 10 U.S. warships, including an aircraft carrier and at least 5 destroyers, were heading toward Iran's coastal waters on Friday. Now, this is a lot of this big stick talk. Essentially, we are kind of going right back to the nuclear power conversation, nuclear armament conversation with Iran. And they're trying to like say, hey, we're bringing this shit back, okay? We can hit you guys up. Remember what we did to Venezuela. Remember what we did to y'all last year. Don't forget. And it's like, essentially, Iran is not really backing down either. So we're kind of just having this hard talk when it feels like there should be time for diplomacy, really. But we're kind of doing the gunboat shit again. So here we are. We're back here again. So yeah, I felt like this was a good article to kind of cover, I don't know, just a couple things. And yeah, I wanted to talk about Melania, the movie, a little bit. And once again, probably not going to see it, but interesting nonetheless. But yeah, that's it. That's all I really have for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Let's see here. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see here. I'm not supposed to be shilling on Sunday, so actually I'm gonna stop myself right now. But I will say, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.